Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning into my video and my channel. I am Tech Talks with Sandy, and this is going to be the third video in the series where we're going to be talking about what is the difference between Webex and Zoom and which one suits perfect for your environment, especially during the current scenario of COVID where all of us are locked at home. Now, there's a reason why we've actually chosen to make this video is because everybody has been reaching out saying, "Hey, what is the best application which is available in the market, basis the current scenario as well as once the things go all right and matter offices open up." So, basis that, we basically decided to create this video, which will give you insights in terms of what are the features that are being offered by each vendor over here, which each platform over here, I would say, like what is the feature that is being provided by Webex versus what is the one which is provided by Zoom, which one is better right now, and which one will be better as a platform for future use as well in case we are planning to return back to offices. So if you like the content of the video, please go ahead and subscribe and like my channel, and make sure you watch the entire video so that you get to understand the differences in total. There are certain most important features that I'm actually going to be putting in across towards the end of the video. So make sure you tune in and you watch the entire video. As always, as I say, if you like my channel, please go ahead and click the subscribe button at the bottom. And if you think you have more inputs or you have feedback for me, go ahead and put in the your comment in the comment section so that I can understand, take that feedback, and maybe answer if at all you have a question as well. Now, without any further ado, I would like to start the video. Now, to start off with, of course, Webex as a platform, I would say, is so. What is Webex? Webex is basically an online conferencing platform. It is coming in from this vendor called as Cisco. They are big networking giant companies, but they've also are leaders in collaboration as well as security and switching and other stuff, right? Zoom is a platform which is primarily, I would say, a startup created by one of the users of Cisco who resigned, I believe, in 2011. And he decided to start up a company called as Zoom, and it's based out of the Silicon Valley in the US. And they are only into collaboration software, that is the web conferencing software, so as to speak. Now, of course, you understand the difference between both of them. One is a tech giant who is into many technologies, tries to use all of its own back-end infrastructure like routing, switching, security, and so on and so forth. They are all leaders in there, so as to combine and bring to you a platform which is going to be all in on a complete platform, versus, of course, a startup uh, which has just started making inroads due to COVID and simplicity and ease of use, as people say. Right? I'm not going to be biased towards anybody, so therefore my feedback would be primarily based on what the feature functionalities are and my opinions are. About the When we talk about the offerings as such, now Zoom basically has two sort of offerings. One is the Zoom meetings, and then the other one is the Zoom webinar. Now, as the name suggests, meetings platform is primarily for meetings like one to one, one to many. The maximum capacity in that is about up to 1000, whereas the Zoom webinar can go all, it's more of a broadcast stream where you can actually have participants tuning into the likes of up to 10,000 people. It is, of course, a paid model. And then the only way interaction that will be possible is via the chat panel and the Q&A, right? So Zoom basically offers these two types of services, like I said, Zoom meetings and Zoom webinar. So coming to the other side, Webex basically has split their offering into four modules. One of them is the Webex Meeting Center, the Training Center, the Event Center, and the Support Center. Now, what the Meeting Center is primarily is primarily for meetings and meeting related capabilities. So they have bifurcated the features into different modules, and I'm hearing that the training center module will be going to get combined with the meeting center module as well. So that's probably when that happens, I'll make a video and I'll show it to you guys. The second one is, of course, the training center. Like I said, training center is primarily for use cases which is specifically to do with trainings. Like, for example, you have capabilities like breakout sessions, which are there in Zoom as well, of course. Then you have capabilities like accessing remote laptops or desktops, so that you can have bunch of people like in a classroom sort of an environment and access remote computers so that they can maybe do some programming there or maybe install some applications there or so on and so forth, and some capabilities like that. Event center, as the name suggests, is primarily to do with events. It will have capabilities like polling, surveys, registrations, and so on and so forth. And last but not the least, the support center is primarily for the backend support staff, like an IT staff, IT support team who basically want to take access of your laptop or your desktop remotely and install applications and troubleshoot like how a IT support staff would do, right? All of these modules that are available, they are all having capabilities of going up to 1,000 people, right? Except the support center, of course, you don't want to do that. And all of these capabilities are by default available from a Webex standpoint. Now, most importantly, as far as the webinar is concerned, they have another flavor which is called as the Webex Event Center 3000. Now, as the name suggests, all the capabilities are available as far as the events are concerned, but the scalability of this particular platform will go all the way till 3,000 people. Now, Webex also has another service. When I did my research, they also have another service which they basically say that they can go all the way till 100,000 users, and it's called as a Webex Assist services. Now, essentially the backend platform remains the same. It is just that the scalability increases now. So while Zoom only offers up to 10,000 people, Webex can go all the way to 100,000. So I guess that's another advantage towards Webex. But I would say if your environment requires more than 10,000 people, then I think Webex is the right choice to go. Next up, from a feature standpoint, on a feature functionality standpoint, both these platforms, they provide similar, almost next to similar features like virtual hand raising. You're having ability to live stream to, let's say, a YouTube or a Twitter or a streaming engine in the backend or to a Facebook and so on and so forth. Both of them offer video recordings as well. So whatever we are talking during the meeting, that can be recorded. However, Zoom offers up to 1 GB from a recording standpoint, and then thereafter everything else is paid. Whereas Webex offers unlimited recordings on the cloud. So I think that will be a good advantage for people who are looking to record pretty much most of their sessions or are using it primarily for trainings and training sort of scenarios or important business meetings that have to be recorded on the cloud. Both of them provide mute unmute capabilities. Both of them provide polling capabilities, surveys capabilities, and so on and so forth. But I think one place where Webex takes an edge is where we talk about capabilities like transcription. Now, Zoom offers the transcription capabilities, but unfortunately, their transcription capabilities are being managed by a third party vendor. Now, when I get to the security part, I'll actually tell you why and how important that is to be basically not have transcription services being managed by a third party vendor. Webex offers closed captioning as well, which Zoom also does, so that's also good. Now, the other side of it is we have artificial intelligence capabilities that basically come in as part of Webex, wherein we are talking about understanding the background noise and muting and muting the audio automatically because there is a lot of background noise, like let's say a dog barking noise or a machine running or so on and so forth. So that is something that I liked as far as Webex is concerned, because that's more crucial when you're operating out of a home environment, especially during the COVID scenarios. Zoom has been into the limelight is primarily because of the virtual background feature. Now, I'm not a big fan of virtual background because that's, of course, it's basically a distraction during the meeting, but nonetheless, people tend to like it a lot. So Zoom has virtual background capabilities, but what has happened is due to the market demand, even Webex with their August release has come out with virtual backgrounds in Mac and Windows. You need to base your decision on versus whether you have to choose Webex or Zoom. Now that is primarily on security, right? Now we've heard the news on the rounds as always for the past couple of months, where we are talking about a concept called as Zoom bombing. Now that's become a norm now in terms of that become it's basically a word that is available, that whenever there is somebody who's basically logging into your environment without permission, logging into your meeting without permission, that basically turns out to be a Zoom bombing, right? So why did this happen? This happened because of the lack of security features that were available in the platform Zoom. Now, I know that they have corrected certain features, but even right now till date, there are certain Zoom bombing incidents that are happening, right? Now versus Webex, now Webex has its own way of security, but what I liked about that platform is primarily because their security is inbuilt into the product itself, because they go through their entire software defined life cycle, if I could call them, in terms of using their own security strength to actually build that on into the Webex platform itself. Now, while I have not personally tested all of those features, but I like the feature wherein you can lock the room, you can make people wait in the lobby. That's something which is available in Zoom as well. Your end-to-end encryption that is available. And then, of course, Webex claims that our platform is unbreachable. So that's something that is a positive, or rather the bold statement to make. Unfortunately, this is not something that the Zoom guys are making in, but again, I mean, we would wait for this information or this space to be updated a little further. But looking at the strengths that Cisco comes up with, especially being the number one in security, I think Webex is a far more secure application when it's compared to Zoom, right? And of course, I don't have to talk much on Zoom security, because anyway everything is out in the open. As example, Zoom has got into phone capabilities as well. That is basically cloud calling capability. They call it as a Zoom phone, so they have their own cloud wherein they provide their PBX related services. Whereas Cisco, of course, is the leader in the IP telephony since 86, if I recall, and right now they have their offering over the cloud as well. And because they had acquired this company called Broadsoft, their reach is much much more beyond than any other vendor in the market. So that'll be a great thumbs up for Webex, definitely, as far as the cloud calling offering is concerned. So if your use case is primarily around cloud calling, then this becomes your number one product to go to. Most importantly, contact center. If you have contact center or help desk kind of requirements, unfortunately Zoom doesn't have any offering in there. It's a very very amateur vendor at this point of time, whereas from a Cisco standpoint, of course, again, they are the leaders in there, and they've actually bundled that up with their cloud contact center story. So that is something, again, it will be a good point to consider. Next, from a messaging standpoint, from a cloud messaging standpoint, as far as the Webex is concerned, Zoom has a very, very amateur offering from a Zoom chat standpoint. It's not as robust as Webex offering. The product for Webex side is basically called as Webex Teams. Zoom basically has a chat option. I've tried using it. It's not all that interactive. It is very it's still in the works from what I'm aware of, but yeah, there is a long way to go. Versus Webex Teams, which just definitely generally gets bundled along with the Webex Meetings application, and it's an all-in-one application which will let you take care of all of your collaboration workloads under one single pane of glass. Now, coming down to the most important point, which is around video endpoints, right? Now, video endpoints, which are the video conferencing devices. Now, Webex is anyway has a video conferencing platform behind it. It integrates well with their own Cisco video endpoints, but Zoom doesn't have a native video conferencing platform with it. Now, what does that mean? That basically means that in order to provide that service, which is basically having Zoom calls on a larger screen with multiple people in a conferencing room kind of a scenario, Zoom has to tie up with multiple vendors in order to complete that solution. Now, why am I against that? I'm against that primarily because if you try to build a story with one, two, three people together, you don't even know whom to ask for support whenever this thing goes down south, right? So that becomes a major trouble when you're talking about support, and when you're talking about maintenance, when you're talking about features getting rolled out, and so on and so forth. Whereas Webex basically has all the features in-house. Their own video conferencing team, I suppose, builds their video conferencing devices, which is integrated along with Webex Teams, with security, with routing and switching, and so on and so forth. So all in-house versus a conferencing engine which is tying up with multiple other vendors in order to complete a solution. I will leave the decision to you, but I know where, I guess you understand where I'm coming from. Now, with all of these points said, I think one point is very simple. We would want to consider a vendor who is not only available for me now with all the features, security, and all of these features combined, but also someone who's um, available from a roadmap standpoint, from a larger vision standpoint, which I have, which I can actually take uh, back to my office and use it for the rest of my employees and rest of my use cases once the offices open up. Right, so with that thought in mind, I would like to end this video now. And if you like what I gave as far as the content is concerned, please go ahead and comment and like my video. And most importantly, if you like my channel and the content in it, please go ahead and subscribe. Right? All right, with that thought, I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.